Hello and welcome to Hi-Point Music's Gear Reviews. I'm Lewis, and in today's episode I'm going to show you another great amp in a box pedal, the Friedman BE-OD. So Friedman are very popularly known in the vintage amp reproduction world. They make some amazing valve amplifiers, traditionally voiced towards the Marshall or American high gain sounds. The BE-OD is designed to capture those sounds in a pedal format and allow you to use that as a bit of an amp in a box pedal. So maybe you're going to a gig, you don't have your own amp, you can rely on the crunch tones from the BE-OD with just about any guitar amp and combination. So it's set up like a amplifier. We've got a few controls to work through and show you there, but first I'll show you my clean tone. I'm playing my Fender Stratocaster through the Friedman into our 2-note clean. My bridge pickup sounds like this. My neck like this. And we'll turn the Friedman on and show you what that can do. We've got 6 controls here to work with. We've got our bass control, our treble control, our presence control, which is generally a bit of a brightness function, our volume control, which is our overall volume, gain, which is clipping, and a tight control. Now to my ears, the tight control is a bit of a tone stack. It passes some signal through when it's cranked in either direction, as in cranked all the way up or turned all the way down, and can accent the bass or treble frequencies depending on the rest of the EQ. So at the moment I've got it set pretty low, so we'll start off with that low and I'll set the EQ kind of flat at the minimum gain sound. So starting off in the lowest gain setting with the EQ flat, I'll slowly push that up to show you what you can get just from minimum position. So starting to get pretty crunchy at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock there. Getting sort of higher now. It's pretty saturated, so the subtleties are going to be there. It does get a little bit noisier, obviously having so much gain on tap. And if you're running a noise gate or something for those high gain metal tones, it's probably something you want to pay attention to is your gain control on this particular pedal. So while we're at the full gain range, I'm going to move this tight control around to show you what it can do. So it starts to cut a little bit of treble here, accenting the bass. And then as we dial that forward, the treble becomes accented and the bass gets cut. I'll sweep that back while I'm not talking so you can actually hear it a bit easier. And in that tight position that's turned all the way down, you're getting reminiscent of neck pickup tones. So if you've got a one pickup guitar or you really want some finite control over the tone without having to change that setting, it's a really great option. Next we've got the presence control, which as I explained is a mids function. So I'll set that to about center position on the tight. And I'm going to start off back at the low gain. So as we dial that down, we do lose a lot of that presence and top end, but a pretty great classic 70s kind of rock sound in that no presence position. Normally on a valve amp, a presence control is designed to brighten things up when your valves get older and lose some of their frequency response, which this control definitely emulates nicely. So starting to return to a normal presence sound or a normal brightness. To its brightest setting in the presence, which when I turn that gain up, becomes very saturated, and you can really hear the sound of my fingers moving on the strings and my pick hitting the strings. Back down again. All the way up. Now, of course, in addition to the presence and the tight control, we've got a treble and a bass control here, so we can scoop some of the bass out to really take the bottom end away from that for a really honky kind of live guitar sound. You don't want to have too much bottom end on stage for classic rock. Or you can turn it right up for that thundering kind of quad box sound. And the treble control obviously has our brightness overall. So even with the presence cranked and the treble down, it's going to cut a lot of that sound out. Starts to sound normal there at about 11 o'clock again. And then it'll get really bright as I turn that treble up. And just for comparison, I'll show you that presence control down. So you're still getting that sort of treble-y tone, but it's nowhere near as bright as it is. When it's cranked, it's nowhere near as bright as it is at about 12 o'clock. Got a little bit of push EQ, you can get some great mid sounds. And of course, as you dial that gain control back, although it's still bright here, and we can make it bright here in the presence as well, it's still pretty well saturated. Back to no gain, if you want to dial that back to a pretty subtle amp sound. Maybe not that much. So leave treble about 12 o'clock, or 1 o'clock. And we accent some of the top end by turning this tight control to about 1 o'clock. You might want a bit more volume there, but definitely where the beginnings of a Marshall amp or a high gain amp start to clip at that minimum sound. So there you go, a quick little run through on the 6 controls that we have on the BEOD. There's a lot to get your head around there, and the EQ controls work really, really well. You are able to get a lot of different sounds and different tones from those controls, just from varying either the bass and treble or the presence and the tight functions. I do like having the tight function on there. It's a nice way to get a shape of an EQ, as well as scooping some of the end or the bottom end out by just filtering a little bit off. So it just helps to accent whatever frequency is left. Presence control is definitely something I would use on high gain pedals. As I mentioned earlier, valve amps have them, and they really attribute to those bright palm muted tones and accenting those sort of sounds. The gain control probably doesn't go as low as it would on a valve amplifier itself, but if you're playing hard rock or anything that's kind of heavy metal or alternative rock, where it starts is pretty good anyway. And the absolute saturated sound, if you've got low output pickups or you're pushing another pedal, it'll really, really pick up the gain, and you get some crazy, almost fuzz-like square wave clipping out of it in its most extreme settings. So very powerful control, very decent size, shape of the pedal. You know, it's no bigger than a Boss pedal. It'll easily fit on your pedal board. Definitely much smaller than lugging a Marshall amp and quad box to your gigs. So there you go. That's the Friedman BEOD. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Leave us a comment if you've got any suggestions, questions, or things you'd like to see on the channel. We do appreciate that feedback. head over to the blog and check out what we've got there for more information on this pedal as well as the other pedals and lessons that we do. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.